the corruption in Nigeria real estate management is prevalent, especially. Allegedly, though, public officials have been accused of using illicit funds to acquire properties in that space. A lot of manipulation in land administration, and of course, the scam by some unscrupulous developers exploiting the housing deficit that we talked about earlier, about 28 million units there. Of course, so many factors are actually said to be responsible for what we are having. Part of that problem is the weak mortgage system, the inadequate anti-corruption policy, and of course, this societal pressure for property ownership is also part of the problem. That as long as you are you're human, you're living, you're working, you're doing something, there's a pressure on you that you must at least own a property or a house on your own. Is also part of the problem that we are actually having in the sector. Let's discuss this further. I'm being joined now in the studio by Mr. Phanuel Lawrence. Mr. Phanuel Lawrence is MD of Green Peak Shelters. He is also a real estate expert. Glad to have you on Business Daily.
Thank you, my pleasure.
So much problem in this critical sector. A lot of issues around corruption, the illicit fund being used, channel into the real estate investment. Only recently, about 773 housing units or thereabout were seized from the former bank chief in Nigeria, so to say. Allegedly, though, it's still under, I think that property was confiscated. Give us an overview of how corruption is affecting the success of this critical sector.
All right, we need to understand that all over the world, in any clime you go to, real estate is one of the critical and viable sectors of every thriving economy. And there are three very basic reasons why people buy houses. Some people buy houses because it's a basic necessity. They need shelter over their head. Then you also have a group of people that buy houses because of the houses serve as status symbol for them. Then you also have another group who buy houses as an investment now because of the returns on investment in property. So now, these three reasons, fuel the need or the upsurge in corruption to an extent. Because for a civil servant whose monthly earning is just about 100,000 naira, for example, living in Abuja, of course you need shelter over your head.
Certainly.
And paying rent is not sustainable. So now, because the person's salary is grossly inadequate and insufficient, and this same person is working maybe in an office and have access to the common till, there is every tendency that this person will want to dip his hands in the common till so that he's able to provide shelter for himself. So now you find out that because of the poor salary, now this is leading this person, to do the wrong thing, to be able to achieve a means. Now you also have those who, go into all manner of crimes, for example. Because when we are talking about corruption in the real estate sector, it is not just civil servants and public servants, putting their hands in the till to buy property. We're also talking about those involved in criminal activities such as kidnapping. Most of the ransom you pay is easily returned back to the economy through the real estate. Then you also have one of drugs. Now, most of the drug lords, they also invest this money.
And there's no means of identifying whether this money is from drugs or kidnapping.
Most of the crimes, financial crimes that is perpetrated, you find out that the real estate is an easy vehicle, to reconvert this ill-gotten wealth back into the economy through real estate. So the real estate in Nigeria, unfortunately for us, is highly, highly unregulated. Everybody wakes up today, he becomes a real estate owner, a developer, and a real estate player. Now, I am one of the people that is advocating that it is high time it is critical for the government to take this sector very, very serious, because we are dealing with corruption in the public and private sector. We are dealing with criminal activities of kidnappers, drug lords, and all of this. And the real estate, like I said earlier, is a viable option for diverting these funds and converting these funds and getting these funds back to the economy. So I will really advocate, and I'm advocating that the real estate sector in Nigeria needs to be highly regulated. We need to know, okay, what are the procedures for becoming a developer? Now, in Abuja, for example, we have REDAN, Real Estate Developers Association of Nigeria, which I am a member. Now, but REDAN, because REDAN is not an act of parliament, and REDAN is not backed by law, so it becomes voluntary. So it is not statutory for every real estate developer to be a member or to be registered and be regulated by REDAN. Now, because it is not backed by the act of law, so it is voluntary. However, now if we have a body, we have an institution, or we have a body, you know, that regulates activities in the real estate sector, it will give it is going to give direction in the sector. It is also going to reduce the activities of quacks
in the industry. Yes.
Yes, because the real estate industry is one industry where you have so many quacks, like many other industries. Now, you meet a lot of people and they are telling you, oh, I invested my money here, I bought land here, and my money just went down the drain. And this is hard-earned money of some of these people. Now, the stories abound everywhere you go. In fact, you go to some places, immediately you mention that you are a real estate developer, everybody's already looking at you like a fraudster. So, the government needs to step in. The real estate sector is a critical sector of every economy. So, and if you look at the value chain in the real estate sector, you know, it's amazing. So, it is about time that the government needs to step in, regulate the industry, so that before you become a real estate developer, you must be properly documented,
probably go through
registered.
some certifications.
Yes, and certifications. Then your activity also must be properly regulated. Then also, because when you talk about corruption in the real estate sector, it's widespread. And you know, it's multifaceted. Now, as a real estate developer, how many of us are able to apply for land at FCDA, and get allocation? So most of the lands in FCDA are being given to cronies of politicians, given to, you know, people that are not even developers. Then you, as a developer who is genuine, you want to do the right thing. Now you also want to contribute to the growth of the economy, but you realize that it becomes very, very near impossible. I have been in this industry for 9 years, sir, and I will tell you, I don't have 1 square meter of land I've gotten from FCDA, despite the several applications that we've been doing. So, but somebody is sitting in Kano, somebody is sitting in Maiduguri, and they own 100, 200 hectares of land in Abuja, and they are not developers.
So is it more like land administration manipulation, so to say, in the FCT or across other hybrid areas?
Well, for me, I wouldn't say it's manipulation. I would just say it's sheer corruption. It's sheer corruption, because why will you be allocating land to people who are not players in the industry to begin with? Then the players in the industry do not have access to this land, so we have to go to these people to buy land from them at exorbitant rate. At what rate where did they get the lands? When the land was allocated to them, at what rate? Did they pay that much money to get these lands? So you find out that one of the reasons why the fight against corruption, most especially as it relates to real estate, it's still a far cry. Because until the right things are being done, until a developer can apply for land and get land at a reasonable amount from the government, so that in return, whether he is doing side and services, or he is going to develop property on that land to resell to the common man, the land, he can now do so at affordable rates. And you find out that the need and the pressure for public and political office holders to begin to loot money, you know, to buy property for themselves or to invest in property business, you know, will no longer be attractive. It will no longer be attractive. Now, property in Abuja is expensive. No wonder. And the reason is not far-fetched, cost of land. Because the cost of building materials in Abuja is not different from the cost of building materials in my village.
In Kaduna, for example, yes.
You understand? So, but why is the cost of property, finished property or land in Abuja so expensive? It's just the process.
Because the process, then the population, the demand.
Not because of demand, sir. It's just the process. Because God has so graciously blessed FCT with land in FCT. We are not saying that the land should be misused, but what we are saying is that land is not a problem. We don't have issue of scarce land within FCT and across many states. I think the only state that I know that you know, have land issues as coastal states like Lagos, you know, and a few, and maybe Rivers Bayelsa and so. But when you are talking from the north central to the northeast to the northwest, you understand land is not a problem. So, but the problem here is the process. The process is flawed. And I think it is about high time that the government needs to look at this. And also, another problem that is leading to, you know, massive corruption in the real estate sector is also the issue of high interest on loan. Because as a developer now, I want to develop, and I go to the bank. Now the bank is asking me for a C of O. Okay, thank God I am able to even present a C of O. And the bank is telling me, okay, there's no commercial bank loan in this country as of today that is below 33% that I know of. Now, if you take 33% and you add that cost on the land that is already expensive, at the end of the day, when you develop that property, how much are you going to sell that property for? So you will see a terrace in some neighborhoods in Abuja selling for as high as 800 million, 1 billion. Why?
That is huge.
That's huge. So you see, you find out that, you know, these are the things that are fueling corruption. So for us to resolve these issues, I think it would be.
All right, before we talk about resolution of the issues, which is indeed going to be another wide area, especially, let's look at the weak mortgage system. If we have a well-organized mortgage system, don't you think it would have been very easy for ordinary Nigerian or civil servant for them to own properties?
Well, to be fair to the government, I wouldn't want to agree with you that the mortgage system is weak, because it's a system that I am fully aware of its operations. Now, I think the problem here is, one, the issue of sensitization and awareness. Because as we speak now, the current administration, immediately they came on board, they were able to come up with the policy that allows for civil servants and other pension fund contributors to access 25% of their pension savings for housing equity. So the government has made that possible. And also, the government has also upped the cap, the benchmark, from 25 million to 50 million now, which I am aware many civil servants are accessing. Now, but there are conditions to it. However, I think the problem with the mortgage system in Nigeria is not its weakness. It's the inadequacy of the funds. Yes, because if you look at the housing deficit in Nigeria is massive. And then if you look at what we have in the funds, it cannot cater for, I don't think it can cater for even 5% of the housing demand in Nigeria. So I think the problem is funding. So we need to look at the funding of the mortgage system. Who
fund mortgage? Not the federal government.
Now, the mortgage system is funded by the government. Now, in such a way that a certain percentage is deducted from
the worker's salary,
and put in that till. Then also, it is also necessary that I mention here that mortgage, like we know, is not only for civil servants, because there's always been that misconception. So you find a lot of young people who they'll tell you, I want to work with government because I can have access to mortgage and I can also have access to pension. And I tell them, no. Now, as a business owner, nothing stops you from opening a pension account. Nothing stops you from opening a mortgage account. So the mortgage system is supposed to be funded both by the private and the public sector. Because if the private sector also understand the fact that we need for our workers to open accounts with the mortgage bank, so that after a period of time, they can access these monies and be able to get houses for themselves. So you now find out that by so doing, the private sector will also have been helping to bring in funds into the system. So the mortgage system is poorly funded. The funding is quite inadequate because of the demand. The demand is amazing. So talking about mortgage system in Nigeria is like we are still joking, simply because of the funds. But the process and the processes and then the reforms in the mortgage system very lately have been commendable, and I must commend the government for that.
Indeed, like you rightly said, the mortgage system is somehow poorly funded. Is there no way, I mean, maybe part of the problem, like you highlighted, is issue of corruption as well. Maybe when we take corruption out of mortgage financing as well, we'll have they were able to achieve the desired result. Or don't you think so?
Yeah. As a real estate practitioner and one who has been, I've been able to help a few of my clients access mortgage. I do not think corruption is a problem in the mortgage system. I do not think so, because I think the mortgage system is a very straightforward system. Because if you qualify, because they profile you when you apply, they profile you, how many years have you worked, how many years do you still have, what is your grade level, what is your take-home salary, and all of that. So by the time you...
Mr. Phanuel.
By the time you scale through...
Mr. Phanuel, we live in Nigeria, where, Nigerian factors always play out in everything that we do. You must know somebody that knows somebody for you to assess some things. Don't you think that is also part of the problem in our mortgage system? Yeah,
for me, I would not want to say, I would not want to sit down here and just say what I do not know. But one thing I know for sure is that for those who I have helped and they've accessed their mortgage funds to be able to get property for themselves, I do not know of any one of them that had to give kickbacks. Why? Because here, you are not dealing directly with the mortgage bank. You are going through primary mortgage institutions. And most of these primary mortgage institutions, the more clients they are able to bring on board to access, to draw down funds for them, the better for them. That's what helps them to stay in business. And of course, they earn a commission for it. So I think the system is a very transparent system, to the best of my knowledge.
Indeed, that is commendable there. If you need to say that that system is very, very transparent. We're still talking about corruption now. Let's look at, we have anti-corruption agencies. How much effort do you think they are making in fighting corruption, especially with regards to the real estate management in Nigeria?
Very lately, I really want to commend the effort of the EFCC chairman, because just about 2 weeks ago, I was in an event that was organized by a law firm called the Law Corridor, and he was the keynote speaker in that event. And as somebody who is a player in this industry, I want to say I am really seeing a lot of reforms that is going on. For example, sometimes last November, we were visited by men of the EFCC from the Skumil unit, and I would say it took me by surprise, because for the past 9 years that we've been in business, we've never had that kind of visitation. Then very lately, I was also served a letter to come and appear before, the Skumil unit, which I did, and I was questioned. So I want to say that a lot is being done from what I have seen. So I'm not just saying as somebody who, from my experience, I was at the Skumil office 2 weeks ago. So I will say a lot is going on, because if the institutions the way they are already being strengthened, can sustain this. I want to say that over time, because it cannot work like magic, over time we are going to see a drastic reduction in corruption, because it will get to a point where corruption will not be attractive, because even when you loot the funds, you do not have where to put the funds. So I want to commend the effort of the EFCC.
All right. Well, we're commending the effort of the EFCC and Anti-Corruption Agency. You talk about if you loot the fund, you may not know where to put the fund. But we have some unscrupulous real estate developers. If that word is appropriate, maybe I should withdraw it. Maybe some real estate developers that are not really honest with their customers. We see them taking advantage of desperate people collecting public funds for housing projects without even delivering on the promises.
Yes, I want to use this platform to appeal to Nigerians that in as much as you want to buy property, there are also checks. I'm sitting here and I've also been a victim, even as a practitioner, I've also been a victim, not before I got into the industry. Yes. Why? Because, sometimes you take certain things for granted, and I did that, and it didn't pay off at all. Right now, I think I have a matter pending at EFCC between myself and another developer who I bought land from, and because I failed to do due diligence, I just leveraged on the relationship I had with him, and then at the end of the day, my money was gone, and now I'm trying to recover the money. So there are procedures. You need to do your due diligence. When you do your due diligence, you can never get it wrong. First and foremost, don't just be excited about the location. Don't just be excited about the offer. First and foremost, can you check the credibility of that organization? And with technology now, it has made all these things very easy.
Very easy, yes.
Now you can even know, okay, who are the directors of this company? You can check. You can get that information from CAC. You can get that information if you want. So you begin by knowing who the owners of that company are, who are the directors of that company. Now, how long have that company been in existence? What project have they delivered? Before you talk about, collecting the document to run to FCDA to do your search, begin with the company first. So when you've identified the company and you are certified that, this company has been in business for a year, for 2 years, for 3 years, these are the directors, these are the projects they've delivered, I think it should give you some comfort. From there, you can now proceed to say, what title document are you giving me? When they give you the title document, you take the title document to FCDA and you conduct your legal search, not window search. Because a lot of us, when we just go and they tell you, the property is correct, you just leave. But there's something called legal search. Legal search is a more thorough search. Now, and why most of us, do not get to take the next step of going for legal search, it's also because of issues of bureaucracy. And I also want to appeal to FCDA that the process and the procedure for legal search, please, we are living in no longer in an age of in a technology age.
Exactly.
AI. We are living in AI age.
Of AI.
Yes,
it's true. The process should be less cumbersome.
Yes. So now, can we break down this procedure to? Can we get to where you can apply for legal search and get it within 2-3 hours? Because you apply for legal search, it's taking you 4 months. Nobody wants to wait. Absolutely. So I need to do this transaction, and that is one of the reasons why people keep falling into the hands of the wrong people. Because when you think about going for legal search, it's going to take you a long period of time. The seller is not patient. You, the buyer, because of the opportunity, you are not patient.
You're not patient, exactly. That's quite a whole lot of, bureaucracy there that you talked about. But before we talk about the solution now to some of the problem and, of course, the strategies to manage this sector, let's look at some Nigerian, specifically FCT residents, those who buy land from the local chiefs, from the locals. What advice do you have for them? Is it the right thing to do?
It's a wrong thing to do. It's condemnable, and you are taking a big risk, because the FCT has its laws governing land administration in the FCT. And the laws governing land administration in the FCT does not confer any legal right on the local chiefs to allocate or sell land to anybody. Now, however, you know, sometimes most of us Nigerians, we think we can outsmart the system. So some people know this, but they still want to go through the local chiefs, buy these lands, develop. So by the time FCDA is now coming to say, no, this land, we are not aware of this allocation and all of that, now they begin to, you see them going out to stage protests and then begin to blackmail the government and all of this. So, however, I want to say that for anybody who is interested in buying land, there are proper procedures and there are proper channels to go to. But the local chiefs are not, they are not in the equation at all.
Yeah, but some people do this because they can't really afford enough to go through the processes that you actually mentioned.
Yes, and that's why, you know, we will continue to appeal. We thank God for the FCT minister we have, Barrister Nyesom Wike. He is really bringing a lot of reforms in land administration in FCT and also in terms of development, and we are all witnesses to that. So we just want to appeal to him that as he's carrying on these good works, you know, the common man should also be carried along. Because I always say that it's a simple thing, sir. There's no country, even in Dubai, there are slums. But the slums are not like our slums. So can we plan a district? Can we get some hectares of land? 200, 300 hectares of land. Now, all the government need to do is just site and services. Then you will now come up with a very simple building design. Very simple building design. Now you can have a self-contained building design, have a one-bedroom building design for the poor. So all government needs to do is that put schools there, make sure they have pipe-borne water, make sure that at least they have some basic infrastructure and amenities. Then you give this land to these people at affordable rate. Give them the design. You cannot build outside this design. So you go to South Africa and you have a lot of this kind of settlements I'm talking about here. You know, just local settlements, but well planned. And that's what we just need the government to do. Because by the time you are talking of all this huge infrastructure, it's really, infrastructure development is really expensive. And by the time government want to put that in a district, of course, that district cannot be for the common man. But we need to carry these common people along. And I am suggesting and appealing to the FCT minister that, you know, we can open up, you know, districts like this for the common people. Like I said, give them, do drainages for them, have access road, even if it's not power, you can do asphalt, you know, or any other one, you know, have schools there, have good drinking water, have maybe solar lighting systems there, have very affordable designs. So we have very affordable designs.
Indeed.
Yes.
Of course, that is a very good suggestions there, and we hope that the government will take that very seriously. We talk about corruption in real estate. Let's look at the solution now and the strategies that government should deploy to ensure that we have, a real estate sector or industry that address the housing deficit that we have in Nigeria.
All right, I think it is about time that this group of people lock themselves in a room and speak truth to themselves. One, we need the anti-graft agency to be in that room. We need
the Ministry of Housing and Urban Development.
We need the Minister of Housing to be in that room. We need the CBN governor. And of course, a representative or CEOs of some of these commercial banks to sit in that room with them. And we also need, like in the case of Abuja, we need the FCT minister to be in them with that room. Now, why am I bringing these people into this room? It is because they hold the key to solving the corruption problem in the real estate sector. Now, how? For a CBN governor, now he can come up with a policy to say, okay, for the real estate sector, reduce the commercial lending rate to 10% or below 10%. Do you understand? To encourage the sector. Because as a developer now, you do not want to know what it takes for me to get funds. At the end of the day, who is bearing the cost? The buyer. So we need to work on the interest rate on funds. Now, if you do that, you would have solved the problem. The FCT minister, please, sir, how do we get lands as developers? Why should I be a developer and I have to buy land from somebody in Sokoto who is not a developer? And I'm buying land in Abuja from somebody in Sokoto who is not a developer. And this person have land in 50 hectares, in 100 hectares, in 200 hectares.
In FCT?
In FCT. Now, we need to work on that. Then, the minister should come up with a framework and also with a regulation to regulate the real estate sector. Because if we don't regulate who the players in the real estate sectors are, we'll not also be helping ourselves. So the real estate sector must be regulated. We cannot just be, everybody can just wake up and is doing what they want to do.
Indeed. Do you also think that by decongesting FCT, what I mean by that is that when you extend development to other states, Kaduna, Kogi, Kwara, Enugu, Borno, and other places, you extend development, you extend government presence to all those places. Don't you think that would decongest FCT and, of course, reduce a lot of pressure on this sector in the FCT?
Well, I want to say there are many reasons why people are rushing or moving to FCT. Insecurity being one of them, which is a major.
How safe is even the FCT itself?
Yes. So now the thing there is, I believe that by the time insecurity is fought at the subnational levels, by the time the economy is also doing well at the subnational levels, the need to migrate from local government to states, from states to the FCT will be reduced. Now, because most people are migrating because people are looking for greener pastures. People are looking for safety. People are looking for where, you know, they can better themselves. So the onus is also on the state governors, you know, to do their bits at the subnational levels. Because if the subnational levels can enjoy from some form of security, can enjoy some form of economic stability, I don't think anybody will want to come to Abuja. Because why will you be in Abuja if you cannot afford a life in Abuja?
Life in Abuja.
Yes.
I can recall the former FCT minister talking about Nasir El-Rufai did say that if you are earning if you're not earning up to so amount, that you should move out of FCT. That FCT was not for everybody, and I know that FCT is indeed not for everyone. It's meant to be the center of the capital of Nigeria.
No, I don't think I want to agree that FCT is not for everyone. We are all Nigerians. FCT is for everybody. However,
but I'm sure when the FCT was planned, nobody actually expected the kind of population that we're having in FCT.
Yeah, I think when FCT was planned, the fundamental error there was that the FCT was just planned for the elites without taking cognizance of the fact that the elites also need those who will support them or those who will work for them. And that's the crisis we're having.
Indeed.
Yes.
And it's indeed a big crisis. We hope that the minister will address that, especially with regards to the issue of housing deficit. So I must thank you, Phanuel Lawrence, MDCO, Green Peak Shelters, for your contribution on business. We appreciate your contribution.
Thank you. My pleasure.
We appreciate it.
Thank you.
With that is a wrap on the show today. We'll be back again tomorrow. I am Yusuf Akogu.